love Burbank. And I love Miami.
Hi, guys and gals. Give it up for the band.
Can we get some oxygen for Rob? This is a little bigger room than normal.
A lot of people out there. My hands are shaking.
I love that they do all the hard work and we're able to come out for like the last 10 seconds, try and jump, which hurts our backs and our knees, and be like, yeah, we're rock stars. Yeah. We know what it's like.
I'm not moving right now because I'm fairly certain I just blew my hip.
I heard it pop. True story.
Well, let's make this official. LA adjacent and the surrounding areas, Padalecki and Jensen Ackles.
Thank you, Mr. Spade.
Do we have to call him Mr. Spade now that he's directing?
Yeah. For the next 8 days.
Oh.
Yeah, Mr. Spade.
What? It's who I am. This is the one thing about Spade. You ask him to impersonate somebody, he'll nail it. You ask him just to do another impersonation of somebody other than himself, he always goes Italian.
I got no accents in my arsenal, you know what I'm saying? I was telling you, I've got me and not me. Those are my two voices. And I won't embarrass myself with them right now.
Please don't.
All right, take care of it, boys.
See you in a bit.
He's going to be in Vancouver with us this week. He starts directing his second episode of Supernatural on Thursday. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure he's told them.
Yeah, I'm sure he won't shut up about it. Gosh. It's one of my favorite scripts of the season for sure, but even more, it's one of the things I'm really grateful that Supernatural's gone 12 years, that we have a chance to do an episode like this. It's kind of a la some of my favorite stories, so...
no pressure,
if he messes it up, if he messes it up, we need the SBN family to come after him and just kick him in the shins. Deal? Deal? Pinky thread? No? High five? No. Hi guys. Without further ado...
No, let's ado.
No, let's not ado anymore. I'm done adoing. It's nice to be here in our old digs. Yeah.
Can I just say, I'm not going to embarrass them or point them out because they outrank me. But there are some people here from our network, I believe, and from our studio here that help us do what we do and have continued to be champions for our show for a very, very long time, and we are very grateful for them. If we could just give them a quick round of applause.
Y'all know who you are, wherever you are. Yeah, it's very nice to be able to say thank you to people who help us be here so we can talk to y'all. All right. Yeah, I like that. All right.
Now let's get this in push. How about that? Which way you want to start?
Let's. I'm just going to turn in a circle, and wherever I stop. Okay. That's what it is.
Hi guys, I'm Roxy. Now, recently I was at Comic-Con in Australia, and in a panel, Christian Kane was asked if he could fight anyone, who would he fight? And he said he'd take both of you on and win. So we were just wondering, how badly do you think he'd beat you?
Well, let me ask you a question.
Understand his fighting style.
Well, yeah, was it Kane taking on Jensen, or or was it one of his characters taking on the Winchester brothers?
I actually think it was Elliot taking on Jared and Jensen.
So he has a very interesting, having known him for several years, he has a very interesting fighting style.
As in, he brings guns.
And pulls his pants off. Because no one wants to fight the naked guy. So if we were staring him down and he dropped those drawers, I might go like, all right, buddy, you win. You win. And not a punch was thrown. Yeah, he's a tough cookie. Here's a funny side note. After the Scream Awards in 2008, I ended up at a after party for the award show or whatever it was, and he was there, we were hanging out. And some guy decided he had a bone to pick with me and wanted to fight me. And I was sort of like just ignoring the guy, I'm like, whatever. And then finally, Kane walks up to the guy and pulls him aside. I don't really know what's going on. I'm just, like, whatever, I'm having a good time. And Kane pulls him up to the side, kind of grabs him by the shirt and walks him over. And then the guy vanishes. He leaves. I don't think he died. It's not that good. Kane's in prison now because Jared sold him out. No, I was like, what's the story with that dude? Like, what was his issue? He's like, oh, I don't know. I told him if he touches you again, I'll beat his ass. So he's a tough cookie. Happy to have him on our side. Yeah,
let's just hope it never comes to that, because I don't want to find out who wins.
Yeah.
He's a good old Oklahoma boy, and we're better. Much like Jared and I figured out very early on, it's better to be on the same team than on opposite, for all parties involved.
Thanks, darling. Good day, mate.
Hey there.
Hey, how are you guys doing today?
Hi.
First of all, I want to say thank you for all the work that you've done for everybody. I've suffered from depression since I was 11. I've been fighting it 30 years. The time that you guys have spent with me is more progress I've made in 3 decades. Thank you. And sorry, I have a question. So, over the summer, I took a road trip with my daughter who's 16, and we based it on the Asylum episode. And we actually
That's a terrible idea.
It was her idea. I was like, landmarks, history. She's like, can we spend the night
Asylum.
Yes, and we did spend the night at the Trans-Allegheny Asylum and did a full ghost hunt. Super awesome, totally go there, it's amazing. So my question... It's where the frontal lobotomy was developed. Talk about activity. So, my question for you is there, if your children asked, eventually in the future, because I know they're really young, is there any episode that you would be willing to redo on a real life level with your kids?
A French mistake.
That's a nice big one. It's reality, kid.
I have it's sitting in my, so I rent an apartment in Vancouver where we film, and I begged and pleaded for the office of Jared Padalecki, the picture on the horse with Ray Calloway. I own it. It's in my garage, and it was one of those things where
No, it's not. It's above his bed.
I saw it, we filmed, I begged and pleaded that I could keep it. I was like, you can't use it again. And they finally, at the end of the episode, they're like, yeah, you can have it. And then I got it and I was like, what on God's green earth am I going to do with this? So it's like, it's sitting in my garage stall or whatever in my apartment in Vancouver. One of these days,
He'll hang it above
one of these days, it'll be in my garage in Austin. Because I don't know, but anyway. But yeah, I think French mistake would be fun to react. For me, it's a little interesting because not only is Daddy on Supernatural, but Mommy was too. I can name a lot of episodes that I would not recreate. But we do have a girl on the way, so...
So much fun. I have both, so I know.
when you take over.
Hey, mine turned out pretty good. I'll just send mine up. She can give yours little pointers. Well, thank you so much. Jensen, you didn't answer.
I would recreate Baby. So that A, we get to spend as much time in the car as possible, and B, Daddy can watch, JJ can watch her daddy kick some ass.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you guys?
How are you guys?
I'm doing pretty good. It's my first convention, so I'm really excited and nervous.
Welcome.
So, there are a lot of scenarios and situations that fans would like to see in the show, such as like body swapping, de-aging, gender swap, baby becoming human, even baby becoming human and being a guy, and having Dean still call him baby. So, my question is, are there any certain scenarios that you guys would like to see?
Oh no, baby.
Did you say Dean dying?
No!
I think we covered that.
The scenario is baby becoming human, but being a guy, and then Dean, like baby wants Dean to still call him baby.
Who comes up with this? Let's see, how could we really mess with Jensen?
My question is, are there any specific scenarios that you guys would want to see eventually make it into an
Not
episode?
that.
So some of you might know this, maybe a lot of you don't, but the episode Swap Meet, the one where Sam and Gary swap bodies, it originally was written, and there are drafts out there that was a body swap between Sam and Dean. Yeah, that was the original. One of the original storylines, and it ended up getting switched around and changed around. And I remember reading it and going like, "Oh my God! Like this is going to be a huge episode. Like I have a big responsibility to fill here." And I was very relieved when I got to be like a nerdy little boy, like talking about those things. The curly straw and the darts, that was fun. But I'm just, I don't know if I want to do a body swap with you. It hurts to walk bow-legged. Yeah, it does. And didn't we have, wasn't I baby for changing channels? Drop the mic?
No.
I broke it last time, so I can't drop it.
However, that would have maybe added a little comedic value if you were like,
Call me baby.
you can call me baby.
What was the other
We
one?
missed that one.
There was de-aging and like gender swaps, so you guys become girls.
Dean aging?
De-aging, so you become like big,
Oh, like Benjamin Button?
yeah.
Well, I will say I've teased about this episode, the one that we're filming right now, a little bit. I teased about it a little bit this morning. There is kind of an aspect of that that's coming up in the episode that we're filming right now.
Episode 11.
The kind of de-aging of Dean. Say that 3 times fast. De-aging Dean.
I didn't even say it once.
Yeah, so that's what I don't know that there's. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a scenario or a episode idea.
You know what? I think
Vacation. The Winchester's Vacation.
I think gloriously, with y'all's support, we've been able to go long enough to where we can even have these conversations. And if y'all keep us coming back for a couple more seasons, maybe we get to see them all. De-aging.
guys out of anxiety disorder. It's really being tested right now.
You need to apologize. You're in our family.
If you guys could just really quick say hi to my sister Melissa, your biggest fan.
Hi, Sister Melissa, the biggest fan.
Hi, Melissa.
Okay, so my question is, when you both started the show, you were single and you hadn't started your families yet. But now, several years later, you guys are husbands and fathers. Do those developments change your opinion about John Winchester's as a dad and a husband?
Yes. Yeah. Are there any parents out there? It's one of these weird. I grew up the youngest, almost the youngest. My sister was here as well. Was the only cousin of our 9 cousins that was younger than I was, and I always had a chip on my shoulder about people going like, "Well, when you're older, you'll figure it out. Well, when you're older, this or that, or you're not old enough." And now being a parent, I feel like I do the same thing. Where it's like, you know what? I mean, when something comes out and it's part of you and you're responsible for it, there's a feeling that can't be described or quantified. That's been a really cool, unique experience that I've been able to go through on this show, that he's been able to go through, that a lot of our crew has been able to go through, that our buddy Misha has been able to go through, from not being a parent to being a parent. It does put a lot of stuff into perspective, and not just the relationship we have with John, and why Sam had such an issue with his dad and chose to kind of blame him for a lot of things that were actually kind of probably Mom's fault. You know, she was the hunter, not dad. So it's definitely shone a light on a few different situations. That definitely is one of them. I think one of the morals of the story, as far as Jared is concerned, is that John really was trying his best, and that's all you can kind of hope for.
Yeah, it's hard. Isn't it hard? But it's different to try to, I guess, compare yourself to the situation that John and his sons found themselves in, because it was such a supernatural situation.
Oh, I see what you did.
You know, again, I think Jared touched on it. It's, you know, he was doing the best with his circumstances, and it may not have always been the right choice that you know, for the time, but it was the choice that he made and he stuck with, and it was a very unique childhood for both sons that lent itself to a very unique and sometimes very stressed relationship with their father. So that's not something that I necessarily have experienced in my life, nor do I hope to have my children experience that. Yeah. So given that, you know, that relationship, to me, is something that is unique unto itself, just like everybody's relationship with, you know, with their loved ones. So I don't necessarily identify with that or have thoughts or compare that to my life in a sense, because that's you know, that's its own kind of entity. And I love the complexity of that relationship, because I think it lends itself to complex stories. If there was shows written about our relationships with our fathers, it'd probably be pretty boring, because we have really good relationships with our dads. Yes, all right. Oh, no, it's okay, go back. Yes, it worked. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Before, but what's your favorite part about working with me?
Security. Speaking of Kane,
My favorite part about working with you.
Hey, find your light, actor boy. Find your light.
Dark hair. Lights.
Find your light. There we go.
Hey, hi.
Tim Hopkinson, ladies and gentlemen.
Actually, I know the answer to the question. The answer to the question of what's the best part of working with me is everything. But can you sign these? So that's to John.
You saw that T.I.
T.I.M.
Yeah, it's I found out the principal at my daughter's middle school is a huge freaking fan of the show.
So this is entirely self-serving?
Oh, entirely. I could get your scholarship on grades, I'm telling you that.
I'm kidding, she's a genius.
And there's one underneath for Katya, who's a dear friend of mine that I brought. She's over there. Katya. Hi guys. No, seriously, though, what's the best part of working with me?
The fact that I didn't have to do it very much, which was a blessing for me at 9 time off.
The best part about working with you, Tim, was finally working with somebody that had an amazing head of hair.
I can take some of it off. No, seriously.
I was going to say the best part of working was top knot contests.
Oh, top knot's pretty good.
Man bun contests.
This is making an effort. Don't come up and ask me to sign stuff. It's just I got to get back to the halfway house, so I couldn't wait until they were
Ladies and gentlemen, Tim friggin' Jensen.
Yes.
Hi guys. Bye, buddy.
How much you pay him to do that?
Can't take him anywhere. How are you?
Good, how are you, gentlemen? First, we'd like to say congratulations to both of you for your upcoming blessings and your families. My question is, after the 25th anniversary of Supernatural, would you consider acting again, and what type of show would you do together?
Would you consider acting again? Would you consider acting again, or have you had it beaten out of you? Jared, after 25 seasons of one show playing the same character, would you consider coming up for air?
Have they destroyed your soul yet or not? I have been, this is as honest as I can be, and my manager's here, he probably doesn't want to hear this. I would love to spend a lot more time with my family and a lot less time on camera. Man, y'all really hate me, huh? Just kidding. It's like, yeah, quit acting. I think...
Yes, please, spend more time with your family.
Yeah, we really want you to be there. I would love to do stuff. It's been a huge blessing to be here and do the show with you guys and with this guy, the whole gang, Tim. But I would love to focus on stuff. I think it's, you know what's really funny is that when Supernatural started, I was 22 or 23. You were like 34 or something.
It's funny because you got older and I stayed the same.
The things that I thought I wanted 12 years ago, I'm so grateful that I was too busy to try and accomplish any of those things or do any of those things. You know, the person you think you are when you're 22 years old, blissfully, isn't the person you find out you are when you're 34 years old and a father of 2 and on the way and a husband and a friend. So I feel very blessed. When Supernatural does end,
Are you serious?
I'd like to work less and only do this annual Supernatural movie. Senor Ackles.
Yeah, I'd say after season 25, what we do is maybe take a year off, and talk to the CW and say, hey, what do you think about a 12 to 13 episode season for the next 25 years? Right?
Perfect, gentlemen.
No, I to be honest, I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that question is, and it's I've never been the type of person to really plan too far in advance. I like to kind of roll with the punches and keep my options open, so to speak. So it's probably something I'll have to sit down with my family and talk to and figure out a game plan. But for right now, I'm enjoying riding this wave as long as I can ride it.
My name is Sherry. More for you, Jensen. Oh, that's Jerry. First love of the show. You guys were bonus, but my first love of the show was Baby and Dean's 45. Were you ever able to get your 45, Jensen, with the scroll work?
Yes.
I'm working on mine.
Yes, she's referring to the Dean's gun that's been with the character since the beginning. That was a gun that was a pistol that was rented from a prop house in Vancouver. They have a couple of them, and since then we kind of collected them so that they don't get taken away. Because it is a very, yeah, actually we came back a few years ago. We came back to start shooting. I think it was maybe season 8 or 9, and yeah, I was directing, and the gun, I had to use the gun in the scene, and Robin, our on-set props, she comes up and she hands me this gun, and she kind of has this look in her eye, and then she kind of just slowly turns away, and it looked like my gun, and he and I both have become very familiar with the pistols that we use on the show, so much so, and this is not, I don't endorse doing this to any of you, if there's actors out there or people on set or anything. You always want to treat a gun as though it's loaded, period. That is number one safety. You never pointed at anybody, period. And we take that very seriously when working with firearms and stuff. However, there is a comfortability factor that has occurred with having these guns around so much. And I've gotten very good at spinning my gun and just kind of, and I do it down. I'm not putting anybody in danger. It's never loaded. But still, you always want to treat it with respect. Again, I don't recommend doing this. But as soon as she handed me this pistol, I did one little flip of it, and I was like, this is not my gun. Because I instantly felt the weight wasn't evenly distributed, or distributed the way that it normally is in the regular gun I have. And she said, so they leased your gun out to a movie that's filming right now. Which one, she wouldn't tell me. And they scrambled to get a replica of that gun made. So that to happen for the start of the season. And I'm like, I don't want it. I kind of threw a little fit. There's certain things that I'm pretty easygoing for the most part, but when you literally, there's two things: the gun and baby. So anyway, we got the gun back from the production very quickly, and the wrong was righted.
Luckily, I was on set, and I had a child, and so I was able to go, Jensen, are you tired? You need a nap?
And the answers to those questions were yes and yes.
Maybe you're so tired, maybe you should go to bed. Maybe we're done filming. Maybe it's nighttime. I want my gun.
I think I then said I went poo-poo.
Jensen, do you get poo-poo? Do you have poo-poo? Do you need this thing?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I actually have a prop 45 from Tour of Duty.
Nice.
So, yeah, my husband was in security guard at that time.
Unfortunately, the actual guns that we use on the show are they're like replicas of real guns. So they're not actually real ones. I now have the real version of Dean's gun.
That's what I'm working
at home in the safe. Just a little showpiece.
Mike's not
no pun intended. Thanks a bunch. Thank you.
I know, no one kicks you.
Don't laugh at him.
There's a good little courtesy laughs up here.
Hi. So my question for you guys is, there's a lot of different aspects to your characters. Example, there was Soulless Sam, Meg Possessed Sam. For Dean, there was Demon Dean, Leviathan Serial Killer Dean, Skinwalker Dean. There's a bunch of them, and I want to know which was your favorite person that wasn't them to play. That wasn't specifically Dean, Sam, Hunters.
I loved Soulless Sam.
And I would say Demon D. How about this?
I don't know what that says about us.
How about this? How about an episode where Soulless Sam and Demon Dean go on a road trip?
Spin-off? Yeah, that was my favorite. Yeah, what about you? What were your favorites?
I really liked us. I liked all of them. I'm sorry, I love them. But my favorite has to be Soulless Sam as well, and DH Dean. When Dean was DH by the witch.
What?
Which was, I know it wasn't you, but it felt like you. Sorry.
You know what? Yes. I love that too, because I got about 4 days off that episode. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hi, so this question's a little bit more for Jared, but Jensen, you can also answer.
Gladly.
So I was wondering that if you guys could direct an episode where it was only you directing and there were no rules allowed and you could just do whatever you want, how would it go? What would you do with it?
Oh, God. You know, he has directed. I have not. I think if I directed, a lot of the stuff I really enjoy about what we get to do is when we play around a little bit. If I directed an episode, it wouldn't make any sense for Supernatural, but I would want it to air as an hour of outtakes. I would want it to be a 60-minute long gag reel.
Okay, make it happen.
I'm rich. I just get paid to put makeup on and say lines, man. I don't need to write this stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Good. First off, congratulations on your expanding families. Share good luck with the girl. I have 3 at home. So I want to ask, if you guys have a choice, if and when the show ends, how do you want your characters to go out?
Dead.
Wait. This is a multiple choice question, isn't it?
Yeah. In a blaze of glory or riding out into the sunset?
What about a blaze of glory while riding out into the sunset?
You know, we've thought about this. I've thought about this, and I don't think the show ends until Sam and Dean are dead. I'm outnumbered. You just feel like, you know what, if Sam and Dean ride off into the sunset, then a couple months later, I want to know what they've been up to. You know? What do y'all think? Let's say the end of season 12, we run off into the sunset and never come back. You're gonna be like, oh, they must be happy. No, you're gonna be like, what are they up to? What are they doing? Someone died weird in my neighborhood. Where are they at?
Spoiler.
Mailman. Sam and Dean, the mailman.
I can see you guys playing Xbox with your guts, you know, just totally relaxed. No sweats.
Sweats and guts. Sweats and guts. What do you want?
I don't know. I think I could see it several different ways. I guess I want to do. Well, either that or they are given a real reason. Yes, I think Blaze of Glory, that could certainly work. I think, you know, sacrificing themselves for something.
I don't need a tissue.
No, you do.
It's gone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think Blaze of Glory could work. Yes, I think sacrificing themselves for a you know, a greater deed, purpose, kind of a thing. But there's also a part of me that thinks it would be cool if we went into like hiding and like dropped off, like excommunicated ourselves from
Then I want to know what we're up to.
I'm getting there. So then cut to 20 years from now, and a show comes around, or a movie comes around, where they need to go find the old guys in the woods who've been, you know, excommunicated. Think of like the movie Shooter, right? How like Wahlberg was all up into the woods and like, you know, excommunicated. And then when it hit the fan, they found the guys to come and help them out. I don't know. It kind of keeps it alive. It keeps the mystery alive. It keeps the characters. He's like, what have we been doing? Oh, we're just like in the woods in a onesie? Like, no, this isn't Deliverance. But the button crotch.
It's the flat butt.
It's the flat
I feel like, honestly, I feel like there are a few ways it has to end. One, we die. Not in any particular order, but we die. Or it's a shot up from the trunk. We got work to do. Close the trunk. Or laying on the hood of the Impala, looking up at the stars.
We do that every episode.
We've been laid on it since season 5. We were shooting the flashbacks.
Yeah, because you scratched it.
Our Entertainment Weekly cover, it got scratched to all hell.
Like they replaced the hood.
They replaced the hood.
Luckily, it wasn't #1, so it was okay. It was our stunt one, but still, yeah, the hood got so destroyed from us trying to stay, because we were sliding, we were just like sliding off the hood. So in order for us to stay there, we had to like put things underneath us, and then they were just grinding them into paint. And there's just like little bits of me dying every time we were just...
I want to say it's the most uncomfortable I've ever been in that car. Just laying on it, trying to like not slide down.
That's not true. There was that one.
There was that one time. Thank you very much. Yeah, you got it.
Hello.
Hello.
So, the pilot, Sam and Dean, how would they feel about the road so far?
I think Sam would be pretty pissed because he wanted to go back to school. Sam would be like, seriously? Really? Like not even a day of law school? Jess is dead? Great, good job, dude, good job.
I think Dean would be like, oh, I didn't see that coming. That really escalated quickly.
First of all, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Fine, thank you. My first time I came from Mexico, so I wanted to ask, first, I want to say that Mexico loves you very much. We really hope to see you there one day. It's like the biggest dream because right now it's like very difficult for us to come here. I wanted to ask if you, the most recent interaction with fans that you can remember, or like some encounter that caught your attention or something? Something that maybe makes you smile or...
This. And it's one of the many reasons why we really enjoy doing these is because it does make us smile, and it does lift our hearts and fill us up and inspire us, and we're very grateful, and it's amazing that you guys have given us an opportunity by showing up here to do just that. So yeah, I would say what all of this is and what all this represents and stuff, that's really an amazing thing, I know, for us. And there are tons of little individual moments that we could just talk your ear off about, but collectively, it is this.
And I was at ACL, the music festival, just over a month ago. And it's like 100,000 people, or I don't know how much it is, tens of thousands of people, 7 stages, 8 stages if you count the kid part. Anyways, it's a huge park, tens of thousands, about 100,000 people walking around, and I'm sitting there talking to my buddy Logan, and we're chatting, we're talking about Jen, and the kids, and yada yada, and I look over and I see a girl walking in a tank top, and it's a Love Yourself First tank top. And I was like, Logan, 1 second, man. And so I walk over to her, and I tap her on her shoulder, and I go, hey, I love your shirt. Thank you so much for spreading the message. And she goes like this, yeah. And carries on walking. And I was like, that's not how I expected things to go. About 10 minutes later,
Didn't she walk away going like, yeah, and don't get any ideas, creepo.
There's a tall creep. About 10, 15 minutes later, I feel a tap on my shoulder, and I turn around, and it's her. And she's like, it's now, I guess, sat in. And she's like, I'm so embarrassed. She's like, it just freaked me out, and I didn't know what to say. What did I say to you? And I was like, you kind of just said, yeah. She's like, oh my God. I'm so sorry. It's my favorite tank top and this and that. We ended up taking a picture. I'll tweet it someday. I asked her, I was like, hey, can I tweet this? Because it was so cool. I've seen that at a few airports, and I've seen that. And it's so neat to me to see the message out there from the SBN family, just kind of making the world a better place, spreading love and kindness and acceptance. And so that was a real treat to me. Stuff like that, little fun little moments.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hi. First of all, thank you so much for reproducing. The planet needs more of you. Please keep up the good work. My question for you, I'm sorry this is my first con, so I'm sure everyone's already asked this, but I genuinely want to see this happen. I loved the Buffy musical because it actually worked within the show. It wasn't like just fan fiction. would you guys be down for a supernatural musical episode where like some kind of supernatural thing happens where you're actually singing and dancing? Maybe bring back some dead people who love to sing as part of the magic?
Well, we did get asked this question quite a bit, and I will say we tried to. There was an attempt to service that question with the 200th episode, which was a musical episode that somehow didn't include the two of us having to sing, which I was like, brilliant! Actually having like a musical episode would be very, very difficult to also incorporate it into the show without it being just a novelty item. But that being said, we've done crazier stuff, so I don't know.
Maybe if y'all keep us going until 300, that'll be. Listen, if we go long enough, we're gonna have to.
Let's just run out of material. Like, well, I think we've gotten there. What a musical episode.
Jensen.
Yeah, so thanks.
That would be fun.
Thank you.
Thanks, darling. Welcome.
Hi. So my question was, when you were teens, who were like idols that inspired you and why?
I'll start. It was a long, long time for him.
Who are you?
In what aspect? Like in the business?
I was almost saying more towards like the Always Keep Fighting campaign, and you are not alone, and who inspired you to do like good things like that.
Oh wow, that was more later in my life, and a lot of you guys inspired me to be a part of that. As far as, God, that's a really difficult question. I don't know if at the time, when I was a teenager, if I really understood the impact that certain people in my life or people that I watched on TV or whatever, I don't think I understood what impact it would have. I know I always wanted to be on Home Improvement. I'm not kidding. I remember going to Universal Studios or something, and there was a cardboard cutout of like JTT.
Wait, that was you.
I wish.
It's JTP.
Tristan Padalecki. I remember like walking around hoping to get noticed or something. Like, I so badly wanted to act. But now, I mean, that's a difficult question.
They set a standard for me pretty early on that I think could be applied in just about any profession or situation that I think really guided me through a lot of muddy waters. And so, you know, early on, I had a pretty good compass as far as knowing who I needed to be and knowing who I was. And that really helped. And I think that some people find that in different areas of life. I was fortunate to have it really close to home. But you know, not everybody has that, so they find it in other areas. But I think as long as you can find it, that's the key. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Say hi to Jasmine.
Hi.
Jasmine, what did you say? It was loud. What's your name? Jasmine, okay. Jasmine, meet SBN
Princess
family.
Jasmine.
SBN family, meet Jasmine. thought I heard you right. I wasn't sure. It was. I could hear Rob yelling and Jensen yelling, and I could hear some talent. Oh, hi guys. So you are our last question, which means you get to join us on stage and see what we get to look at. And it better be good, otherwise a lot of people staring at you. Just kidding.
Okay, so my question for you two is, out of all the pranks that you two have pulled on Misha, which one is your favorite?
That's a good question.
Now we're getting to it.
That's a good question. In hindsight, I'm very grateful that when I hit him in the face with the pie, that it didn't break his nose, because I put some love into that swing. And the best prank we had was actually foiled by him in a stroke of genius. When he was directing, he figured out to leave his keys to his apartment at the concierge at his building where he was staying, because we had plans to like steal his keys, and I was going to go there when I wrapped early and turn all the AC on and like leave mice in his bed and stuff like that. That didn't work out. It's not for lack of trying, and we still might try again. But that was probably my favorite.
I will say that mine it's an ongoing prank. It's one that continues to very slowly evolve. But essentially, when Jared is just not behaving on the other side of the camera, when Misha's coverage is happening, oftentimes he looks to me as somebody who can be taken seriously in the scene. And I've worked hard to earn that respect from him, which has given me the opportunity for something very beautiful. And here, you be Misha. Where's the camera here? Is this? So if I'm, what are you doing? Put in the camera. Okay. So if the camera's there. So I'm talking to Misha like this, right? And I'm very serious. And he's acting like an idiot. But he's just focused right on me. So this is me. And if he's delivering his dialogue, all it takes, then finally he finally walks away, and it's like, okay, hey, it's just you and me, go. And this is all I have to do. That's it. That's it. That's all I have to do. And then he's gone. He's lost it. There's no coming back.
I've seen him lose it. It's really a hard road back.
That is one of my favorite things to do. Just a little.
There's some great outtakes from last episode with Misha. I mean, we had him going. So, thank you,
Jasmine. Thank you very much.